First, I'd like to do a bit of housekeeping. Feel free to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. Please be mindful of everyone else by muting yourself while others are speaking. You're welcome to put any contact information that you'd like to into the chat. We meet here to share deals, look for deals and solutions we have in need with our real estate. We are not your financial advisors, attorneys, or accountants. We do not endorse or recommend any specific solutions or contractors here. You're advised to do your own due diligence to your own satisfaction before you invest. The first Friday of each month is normally Ask the Attorney with Ms. Catherine Davis. Our meetings are typically recorded, so only share what you want others to know.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Laura.
Yes, thank you, Laura. I'm glad you recorded that. It makes it a lot easier for her. But anyway, yeah, I think John said this is the September 22nd Friday networking session of St. Louis Real Estate Investors Association. I'll just make a few announcements. Yeah, we had a good meeting on this past Tuesday. Panel discussion, very good meeting, well attended. We do have in October, the second Tuesday in October, we have our networking breakfast. It's at the Shack in Creve Coeur from 7 to 9 a.m. on Tuesday, the second Tuesday morning. Usually have a pretty good crowd, so and good chance to catch up one-on-one and talk to some people. We usually have somebody new or a couple of new people every session, so come on out. Hope to see you there. And then our next main event for October 17th at the Shriner Center is, can I say, we definitely got Clarice nailed down, or you're going to be talking to her on Monday?
We'll have all the details this next week.
Okay. The details will be coming out next week. Yeah, John's got an interview with our speaker, and then Tony, she sounds like she's has a very wide diversification in real estate. Narrowing down the scope of her presentation might be a little difficult, but they'll try. John's going to try to do that with her on Monday in a Zoom session, and then we'll be announcing that and getting it posted on our website shortly. Okay, so looking forward to that. Anyway, who wants to get us started today? If you have somebody got some real estate they want to sell, somebody looking to buy, looking for their next deal, and in a particular part of the county or city or adjacent counties, or if you have a service to offer to real estate investors, you got an opportunity here to present your service. Or if you're looking for a contractor, a lot of times that's the biggest thing we have is finding good contractors to do, get ourselves out of the work loop and more into the finding and strategizing our next investments. But I know that's one of my big hangups. So
hey guys, I'll lead us off.
Sure, go ahead, Tony.
This is actually my first time. Glad to be here. Born and raised in St. Louis, went to University of Missouri, and then went out to San Diego for the last 10 years or so. Got into private equity real estate for the first couple of years, and then moved over to the debt side of the business. So for the last 8 years, I've been a nationwide lender to builders, flippers, and rental investors nationwide. I just relocated back home to St. Louis, and run a team nationwide. So I've got reps in every time zone, and just looking forward to networking more local and finding ways to work together.
Okay, you want to give your contact information if somebody here wants to talk to you about doing some?
Sure. Yeah, I can drop that in the chat here.
Or you can drop it in the chat too.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, if you don't mind also saying it verbally, because for the people that watch the replay, it could be
sure
too, Tony.
Yeah. The best way to get a hold of me is my cell. My number is 636-297-1821. my name, you can find me on LinkedIn, as my name is spelled here, Tony Hayslip. And then my email is just first initial, last name, so T Hayslip at clearedgelending.com. And I'm the director of sales nationwide, Linden, all but the Dakotas, Alaska, and Hawaii, and looking to do more deals in my hometown.
Okay. Welcome back to St. Louis.
Thanks.
Hey. Okay. What else? Who wants to be next? Who's got something else for us?
Well, Kristen and I are always looking for flips or rentals. So we really like the 63114 kind of Veneta Park Overland area. So if you are doing some wholesaling in those neighborhoods, definitely keep us in mind, or anything that's a good opportunity, we're open for.
Okay.
Do you have any criteria, any more details, Heath? Like what size are you looking for? Multifamily, single family, any price range or amount, scope of work? I mean, total gut rehab or just light, or what maybe a little more details might be helpful.
We're pretty flexible. So we've done a house that we bought for 300,000, we flipped that. We bought a house for 8,000 and flipped that, so, or rented it out. But so I'd say anywhere between those ranges. And man, if it's a cheap house that's in great shape, like I wouldn't turn that down. But yeah, we're not scared of the work either. So
Okay. About anything, but primarily single family residents, right?
yeah, well,
consider-
would be open to some multifamily as well. We've got the commercial ability to do commercial loans as well, so that'd be great.
Okay. You want to give folks your contact information, and then you can put it in that chat too. So
You bet. My number's 314-210-4310, and I will put the email and phone number in the chat.
okay. Very good. Hey, see, we got Laura Lennington on. Morning, Laura.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Lloyd. How you doing?
Okay. Hey,
Ooh, good.
I heard you did good taking care of my friend Larry Campbell.
I did. Got Larry and his brother Jim. I think I helped them meet their goal, got them in touch with the right person for what they wanted to do, and they have a closing date. Yeah, so I wanted to start off by saying thank you to you, Lloyd, and anyone else. I heard my name got dropped by a couple
yeah.
people.
Jim Choink, I think, mentioned it on here when Larry, you weren't here that day, and Larry came on. I told Jim, that's a great idea. It's such a great idea that I had given Larry your contact information the day before.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that, everybody.
No.
Thank you. And I was able to get them in a direction that worked really, really well for them. And as fast as, our schedules met up, we did it. So that was really awesome.
Okay. I appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that just brings me to my super general, I've got a specific ask and a general ask. So here's the loudest ask. I'm walking properties this weekend. I have nothing on my calendar. My boyfriend's working overtime all weekend. I'm just trying to walk property. I can be a buyer. I can be a wholesaler. I can do creative stuff. I can do multifamily. I can do single family. I feel like I can put you in touch with, agents for the right price or the right house in the right place. I feel like I've got a million connections if I'm not the one, and I'd like to look at any vacant property that's out there this weekend. So I'll share my contact information if anybody's got anything, whether it's yours or you just know of somebody and you can give me a phone number. That would be awesome. And let's see, I don't have any wholesale deals available right now. I have some in escrow, but they've all got buyers. But Looking for more to help folks or to get my own portfolio moving in the direction I want it to go, single family or multifamily. So that's the general ask. Oh, Illinois or Missouri.
Yeah,
Illinois or
I was just gonna say, when Larry mentioned his mother's house was in Illinois, multiple people thought of you because you deal in the east
So
of the river also.
almost everything I own is in Missouri. However, I live in Illinois. I mean, Larry's house was not even a mile from the house I grew up in. So like, I'm very well connected on both sides. And would happily look at anything close to St. Louis on both sides. So there's that. So then the other thing, I feel like I've asked this question enough. I have the answer, but I'll throw it out again. It's a septic issue I'm dealing with on a multi-unit, a mixed use property I have under contract to buy and hold in Jefferson County. Okay. It's right off of High Ridge Boulevard. This is. So it was originally built and had septic installed. Over the years, the city has put in a main sewer line, but it's not connected to that. Long story short is the tank is starting to we don't think it's failing, but it's going to fail soon. It's original. So our contingency in the contract was to inspect the septic, hoping everything would be great. It wasn't. So now we're trying to figure out a path forward on this issue. It seems like replacing this, we're putting it on the seller. And she's looking for a cost-effective solution. And I think replacing the septic is going to be the cheapest route. But we don't know because we can't get anybody to give us a bid without a soil test and an set of engineer's drawings. Well, that's going to be like somewhere between $1,000 and $1,500. And the seller really isn't interested in putting the money up because she says, right now I have a septic that doesn't fail. Okay. But we don't want to buy the property with a soon to fail septic. So that's the whole situation. What I'm looking for. We're looking for some sort of a company that would give us a bid. It doesn't even have to be a detailed bid, like a range, like give us some sort of an idea of what a new septic tank would cost or whatever. Like, I'm not versed in this septic world, but whatever it would cost to fix our problems, we have an inspection report we could share. Just even if it would just be a range, we're trying to get a range of cost without having the seller, she doesn't want to spend the money on the soil test and the engineer letter, which apparently is required. We don't want to spend the money on it either, because if she won't pay for the work anyway, we're not buying the property anyway. So that's the scenario. And I'm looking for either recommendations or ideas or any experience out there that anybody could share.
Okay, you said there was a sewer line or a county sewer line, public sewer line in the neighborhood?
Yes. So the research on that shows, so it's across the street and it's a main thoroughfare. So we definitely know we'd have to go underneath the road. And we're required to hook in if it's within 400 feet, which we are about 350 feet away from the nearest connection. But we would not be required to hook in if we can show that the cost to hook into the main line would be double the cost of replacing the septic, which is what we think might be the case. Because we were already told minimum 25 grand to get onto the city sewer. And I have not me, but me and the people where I'm doing this deal with, Jeff Kaufman and some other guys. We've got Mike Petzold going out to look tomorrow. So I know that's a name that'll probably come up right away, but he's going to go out and look for us tomorrow. But, basically we just told the seller, we'll still execute what we said we would here. And this was based on that you had a septic that was going to meet our standards. It just doesn't. That's why we did the inspection. So we'll still execute, but we're just asking her to either cut us the break on what it would take to fix it or do it herself. And so in order for her to decide what's worth it, we need numbers. So.
What's the size of your lot, Laura?
I don't know. Good question, John.
Less than 3 acres?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I can check with Eli. He just put one in for us, but that was Madison County, Missouri, which is south. And I know he goes all over. He's a busy guy, but I'll just ask him maybe what the full amount would be just to do everything. Yeah. And if I can get a hold of him this weekend, he's a busy guy. And if he's in town, I'll get in touch with him.
Thanks, John. Okay. I appreciate that. Thanks. And then I'll let you do your thing, but what's his name? Eli?
Yeah, his name's Eli. I don't have his contact.
Yeah, but
Laura,
the
my
company
wife
name?
does. She's the one doing all the stuff for our, what we're building, our barn dominium.
Yeah.
And I know he's been out there a few times. He's one of the best septic guys I've ever met, but he's one of the hardest to get nailed down because he's so busy.
Yeah. Cool,
But
cool. Yeah.
but Laura
I
has a
don't-
way to do that.
I was only asking in case it was somebody I knew we already reached out to, but I don't know. So if you can get information, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll find out.
Awesome. Thank you.
Do you know what
Yeah.
part of the septic is failing?
Well, it may be that nothing is actually failing yet, but it's either failing or soon to fail is the tank for sure. There was no
The
like,
tank is.
yeah, it's a concrete tank, and I wasn't there, but this is what I was told. So when you opened it up to look in, it needed to be pumped really bad, but even the concrete they could still see was crumbling into it, and so you could only imagine that the rest of the tank is going to be very similar. Yeah, so that's the situation. It's likely original to the building, meaning it's probably at least 40 years old. So,
Okay.
thanks.
Yeah, stranger you mentioned. We know Sandra Holtzmeyer. She was on our panel
Uh-huh.
on Tuesday. Yeah, she's had a lot of experience with septic systems, and
Awesome.
she might have some advice on how to handle it or how to negotiate around it. She
Yeah,
said
that's awesome.
she's dealt with those before.
Okay, I'll reach out to her. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was just really blown away that I mean, we have called and called and called. We did find one company who said that with the soil test, if we use a certain company for a soil test, that person can likely explain the layout that the engineer drawings would eventually show. And then they could go to this septic company, and then that way we could at least get the bid. But that's $400, which is better than like $1,400. But it's just, yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about this stuff, and just to hit every single like no company willing, no company saying like, yeah, we just did one, we did one, 3 lots down or whatever. We know we can guess what the soil's like. We can guess what it's, here's a range, just like not even gonna hold them to it. Just like give us a range here. But yeah, nobody's wanting to spend time on it. So I guess they got plenty of business and they're plenty busy. So
Yeah, I'm sure Jefferson County there's a lot of septic systems out there that are aging out, like you said, 40 years old. If that's a seems like a time frame, 40 or 50 years old seems like a time frame for a life of a septic system.
Yep. Well, I'll throw my contact information in the chat. Just for anybody listening, my phone number is 636-587-0363. Again, I'd like to walk properties this weekend while I've got nothing else going on. Great weather. Love to see anything anybody's got. Give me a call, let me know. And if you have advice on septic, I'll take that too. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you for coming on, Laura. Okay. Who else has got something for us today?
I guess I had a question. I've got a contractor who wants to do some work, and he says he's going to have to hire a couple general laborers to help him because he can't do it by himself. And he gave me a contact to an insurance company in Tampa, Florida. And I tried calling a couple times, but all I get is emails back. And basically, the lady who was the contact said the liability, and that's a secondary. It's actually through a company up in North County through somebody's house that they describe as, let me see, I think as a construction LLC. So I'm assuming that means he's hiring individual laborers through this construction LLC, but they've got their insurance through Tampa. And basically all the lady said was that the insurance covers those people who don't have insurance. She didn't give any specific names, and that leads me to question, well, what about if the people don't have individual insurance? And I don't have a contact number for the construction company, but if I remember correctly, Robin Thompson said something about whenever you're verifying insurance, you should get everybody's individual name, verify that's who they are, because they may substitute somebody who doesn't have insurance without telling you, and that each of them has insurance. So I guess I would need to get in touch with this construction LLC somehow. So I'll have to look up and see if I've got a number for them. I think I might be able to find one. But I was also had the question pop up, although I think I've heard the answer before. Do we need to, along with verifying liability insurance, verify that they've got workman's comp? Would that fall under the liability, or is that separate? I think I have heard that that's separate, but you have to verify that in this case, the construction company has workman's comp on each of those people, because if they do get injured and they have liability, I don't know if the liability covers workman's comp, or like I said, I think that may be something totally separate. So I thought I'd throw that out and see if anybody had any comments. I guess, again, the ideal thing would be to contact Kathy Davis and ask her.
Yeah, or just contact if you got your own insurance agent might be able to give you some assistance and provide, if it's just a policy for a particular task or a job that you're trying to get done.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you could get insurance on some name, get the names, identify the names of the people that are going to be working it, and your own agent might be able to get something
like a single task insurance just for the job.
Mm-hmm. Just a thought, yeah.
Yeah.
Or and then we got two agents. We got Jeremy Heiser, one of our sponsoring agents. He's very familiar with rental policies and construction policies and that kind of thing, doing rehab work. He might be able to, he can give you some advice on it. Okay. Anybody else have any experience like Bruce? Yeah, it's best to make sure you do have insurance, that your contractor has all the right coverages for liability and workman's compensation for any of the laborers on his crew. So
just commend you for doing the research to figure it all out, because a lot of times you just kind of skip it and don't do it. And we had one contractor that submitted his insurance because we asked for it, and he had put a piece of paper over the top with a piece of tape to change the date. But when he made the copy and handed us he actually handed us the one with the little piece of paper and the tape rather than the copy that he had made from an old insurance quote. So yeah, I mean, as much as these guys are good people for the most part, you got to be careful.
Yeah,
like he said, you got to check that out, and they usually, the contractor or whoever, will send you a copy of the liability, the certificate of liability insurance. And I think I did that one time, and I called up and they said, no, that insurance expired. So, or plus, if it's an old one from a couple months ago and they didn't pay for the most recent month, they'll say, well, they haven't paid for this month yet. So there's that thing you have to check too.
Yeah, we always ask that they have their insurance representative or agent send it to us, not that they give us a copy after that incident that he just described.
Yeah, that's a good idea there. Yeah,
that makes sense. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Yeah, like you said, it's good that you remembered Robin Thompson and what she always says about getting insurance and verifying it. It's not necessarily always an easy job either, as you're as you're finding out. Your contractor is getting some of his labor from another source, but well worth it. Okay, anybody else got anything for us today, or just a general question for somebody that's just getting into investing that no question is too easy, or what they always say is that there's no such thing as a dumb question. So if you don't know it, there's probably somebody else on the call or somewhere else that doesn't know it either. And so here you can be informing a lot of folks. Well, if not, I don't have too much more. Other than just reinforcing we got our networking breakfast on October the 10th coming up, second Tuesday in October. And looking forward to our next main event, October the 17th at the Shriners. So, do you have anything, John? You know, unmute yourself or
No, I don't really have anything else.
what to add?
No,
Okay, well, we made a few connections here and hopefully help Laura out with make some connections on that septic system. And got a new lender in town. Sound like Tony wants to do business back in St. Louis in his hometown. So it's always getting financing is always a key part. That's what makes real estate so lucrative, because you don't have to put all your own money into it. If so, there would be very few of us in the business. It's the leverage that there's so many lenders willing to lend on real estate because they know it's a good investment, that we just need to get out and shop. We've got another source to shop for our financing here from Tony. Okay, well, hope we made some connections here. Hopefully somebody watching this, Heath, will get you and Kristen you find your next deal. So thank you all for coming on, and don't see you before. We'll see you next week, same time, same place.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.